Good evening. This is Mr. Taylor coming at you sort of live with the Not So Open House for Journalism 1, video 3 of 5 in the Mr. Taylor Prep series today. And let's get right to it. So what are students learning in Journalism 1? The basic rule is this: everything you need to be successful on either the high school newspaper or the high school yearbook staff, we're going to do in Journalism 1. And the hope is that a lot of these students make the leap next year and become a successful member of either of those staffs. How do you know what's going on? Like every other class on campus this year, we are in eCampus. And here's the Journalism 1 eCampus page where they go every day. We're in a computer lab, so they do get to open this up. And like every other class, again, there's coursework tabs, a calendar tab where they can see their assignments in any class, our syllabus, which is basically the course description for the entire course, some other resources which are coming, but where we go every day and it matches up with the coursework is right here in the lesson plans. So in these lesson plans, and I kind of have it in backwards order, basically the most recent on top. So if you scroll all the way down to week 1, and again, the most recent week is up here on top. So we might start at the end of these links, they click on, they come to class and click on. So we start most days with a CACHA. Basically, they learn AP style rules, that's Associated Press. They do corrections that they keep in their notebook. And we talk about some grammar and style rules as well. Kicking it back to middle school with some sentence of the day action, only journalism style. So then any kind of notes we take, any assignments we have are all going to be on this, and this is really to keep me straight and to make sure I know what the heck I'm supposed to be doing. So tomorrow, a little sneak peek, we're going to be reviewing, talking about bias in journalism and seeing some examples of some of the things that they did for their assignment, what worked, what didn't, and then we will have also a review of some of the sentences we wrote together, news feature editorial sentences, and that's something we're doing. Also a quiz review, which we'll have tomorrow. Now, a lot of the time, if you see something in yellow, that means it's also on the coursework tab, and it is an assignment that they have to turn in eCampus. So all assignments, everything gets turned into eCampus, and like this is an example of news notes. We're starting with textbook work tomorrow. Journalism Today, chapters 3, 5, and 6. So those students who are connected home, hopefully you came to school and picked up your textbooks because Journalism 1 textbooks, we have 2 of them, so you need to make sure that you've got those if you haven't already. And again, that's just how we will run through things every day, and this is a changing document. We might not make it all the way through one day, and then I will update it and move it to the next. So going back to our presentation here. So that's where you go. Everything you needed to know is on eCampus and more. Basically, the big stress for this class, we write stories. That's a big part, especially the first half of the year, learning the different types of journalism stories, learning how to write news, features, editorials, and you got to keep pace. So the stories are broken up into different parts, from planning to interviews or research, rough draft, final draft. Each of those comes with a grade. So if you fall behind on one piece, it's hard to keep up with the others. And those projects, those stories turn into probably about half of the grade for the course. So there is an occasional test. There are some quizzes, and again, probably a couple per quarter, but I will tell them to study. It's going to be a lot of open note for the first part. So with the open note, there is the opportunity to have good notes and be organized and to use that. But there will be a lot of analysis and a lot of things where, for instance, for this first one, I'll give them a topic. They'll have to write a news, a feature, an editorial sentence using the skills we did in class. So another big stress, they got to stay organized. In 2020, everything's difficult, but they do need a notebook with some sections. It could be part of a binder for their other classes, and journalism is just one section of it. But they need notes. A lot of these things they can keep in Google Docs and organized online, but some things such as the sentence of the day, the CACHA, that has to be kept written and in a notebook. Everything's graded this year on eCampus, and everything they turn in, whether notes, projects, whatever, will be turned in through that eCampus portal. We already talked about notes might be from the textbook, one of the 2 textbooks we'll use in class. And if you're a Connect student, you need to get both those textbooks for the duration of while you are at home. But even though we're only going to use them a few times. We might have online videos. I might do presentations where they take notes, a variety of resources we will use. So projects we talked about as well. All these stories broken into parts. The first story, which is coming, a new story, might have 5 different grades attached to it. And again, they'll have the choice on what to do their first news story on. So hopefully that flexibility will allow them to, cover what they want. If they want to cover a sports game, great. If they want to cover an award that somebody at school gets, great. Lots of possibilities as long as it's something relatively local. All right, when you're looking at Skyward, when you're looking at the grades, blank, no worries, nothing's been entered yet. Probably it's a backlog of grading that I have to do. A 0, now you got an issue. There's a student didn't earn credit. That could be for a number of reasons. One, pretty simple, this first part of the year, if they turned in Google Notes and did give me access, I can't open it. So it's a 0, they come in, they click a button, I have access, I grade it, problem solved. Sometimes it's they didn't finish or forgot to turn it in, and again, hopefully that's a quick fix. Other things that take a little longer, again, when they get it in, I will grade it, but depending on what it is and how late it is, probably will be points off. Again, I'm a little more lenient at the start of the year, hopefully as we're all getting used to this process, then we'll all figure it out and be pretty smooth. There will be an online component. We do run the website out of this class. The newspaper staff runs HaggertyJourn.com. Probably starting in November, we'll be looking for a monthly news brief, an Instagram post, a photo upload. They're going to have a choice of what to do, but looking at doing that a couple times per quarter and really having something that they cover. And there's going to be options for the people who are doing Connect to do that as well. So there's lots of options, and there'll be something that's coming later in the class. But again, we do use a lot of the individual content from this class, whether it goes in the yearbook, whether it goes in the newspaper online. A lot of the Journalism 1 content will get published in our publications. So free and exciting part of 2020. One of the silver linings for 2020 is that we have Adobe Access for free. So if they have not yet, we haven't used it yet, we won't for a while in Journalism 1, but they can go to adobe.com, they can sign in using their student ID, and they should be able to download Adobe products for free. And that is a $240 value, and that is something that I highly recommend and something we'll be using in class. And so if they're still Connect when we're doing our Adobe InDesign unit, that'll be something that they need to have access to at home. So again, that's going to be coming in November, December. So hopefully we'll all be back in class together. So how do I earn the A in Journalism 1? Turning in work on time. If you're absent, making up work promptly, studying thoroughly when we do have those tests, but bold, star, underline this last one, put awesome effort into the stories. Even if your writing skills are maybe new, emerging, not quite what you want them to be, that's okay. Really it's about getting good information, getting good interviews, talking to people, and making sure that those stories show a lot of good effort through the stages. Less than a B, it's got to be some of the following. Late, incomplete stories, limited or no test studying, poor organization, poor notes, maybe doing work to minimum standards, maybe homework's not complete or missing some class and then not making it up. All those things are traditionally what leads to less than a B in Journalism 1. If you have issues, come after class, after school, questions, set up a WebEx appointment, and we can hopefully work some of these things out. Even though access is a little tougher in 2020, that WebEx class link will be the same one that I can use for conferences, those people who need it. Always best way to email me if you need something, and that's something I check all the time. What do you need to have in class? A flash drive for backup of your personal work. A lot of people use their Google Drive or OneDrive. That's great. That will work as well. But having stuff backed up on a flash drive is a pretty good idea. Binder with sections we talked about. It could be part of a big binder or its own Journalism One binder, and then different colors of pen. This is just for the culture of the sentence of the day. We correct in a different color ink than what we originally write with. We hope that one day we can all edit each other's papers like the good old days and mark them up with some good old red pen, because we teachers love that red pen. So how can you help the journalism program? A lot of the things they do will go into yearbook and will be in the newspaper, and newspapers in all caps, because frankly the newspaper's poor and our quality is good but our bank account is poor. So we will have some different options this year as far as support for newspaper and yearbook. So people who have a business that might want to advertise or even have donations, if they want to give, those will be coming out next week as far as how you can support newspaper and yearbook and continue to help us get a quality product out there to the school. So thanks for listening, and hopefully this gave you some good information. Email me if you have questions or concerns, and I look forward to someday seeing everybody in person. Thanks again.